Hi, everyone, and welcome to Wingman Wisdom. Happy New Year. I hope you're off to a good 2023. If you're brand new to the channel, a special welcome to you. I am the RV Wingman. I'm a former campground owner. I'm a lifelong RVing and camping enthusiast, and I love most of the people that do it most of the time. And here on Wingman Wisdom, I share some stories and some of my experiences, good and bad and everywhere in between, in hopes that you might get a nugget of information going, you know what, I'm going to avoid that pitfall from some of the things that I have lived through and learned from. But this is not just about me. Wingman Wisdom, as you'll find out if you read the comments here, there are so many people that are smarter and wiser than I am that watch these videos, that chime in, that provide their opinions and comments. And if you are thinking about buying an RV or maybe getting into the camping and RVing lifestyle, I don't think there's a better place on the internet that you can find smart people, honest people who have no agenda except to help others. So if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to Wingman Wisdom. I talk about camping and RVing a lot, but I also talk about life in general. And today I want to tell you, well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about RVing, but I'm going to tell you how to catch pigs. Huh? I'm going to tell you how to catch wild hogs and why that is relevant to you and me and to RVers and to pretty much to all of us. So over the Christmas holidays, you remember how cold it was just before Christmas? I mean, it was bone-chilling cold in Texas. Up north, up in the Midwest and above that, it was just terrible. And so a lot of people were displaced and flights were canceled, blah, 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 blah. And some people had emailed me. This guy had emailed me from an RV dealership that had been bought out last year by a big chain. And I thought, you know what? People ask me all the time, is it better to buy from a big chain dealer or is it better to buy from a small RV dealership? I almost always say from a small RV dealership. And this is going to be, I'm going to read this letter, this email that I got just before Christmas. And it shows you from the employee's point of view. When an employee is happy, I think that you can feel it as the customer. When an employee is loyal, loves their job, loves their employer, they do a better job, don't you think? With corporations buying, there's some corporations that bought more than 100 dealerships, over the last couple of years. These mom and pop dealerships, they took the money, and who can blame them? Those investors had lots of money, lots of capital. They were able to borrow money at a very low interest rate, and they went out and they bought a lot of stuff. They bought a lot of campgrounds. Mine was one of them. They bought a lot of RV dealerships, and this was one of them. So this is the email that I got on Christmas Eve. It says, good morning. Thank you for all your helpful, interesting videos you share. I look forward to watching all of them. I work at an RV dealership in the upper Midwest. We were bought out by a chain RV store, not Camping World, this last fall. The previous owner owned 2 stores, wanted to retire, so this chain of stores bought both of his. He was very fair to all his employees, and we miss him. The new owners have made so many changes that they're losing employees, and more are thinking of leaving what used to be a good place to work. This new place charges an upfront fee for paperwork, taxes, fees, titles, extra. We never had that before. I'll continue here in a second, but this is pretty indicative. I think that as corporations continue to gobble up campgrounds, they continue to gobble up smaller mom and pop RV dealerships, they change the way the business does business. It's all about the bottom line. It is not about relationships. They will put lipstick on a pig and convince you that you're getting the best deal ever at those chain dealerships. Maybe you are, but I think most people are not. I think most people get a better deal, a better service experience, a better ownership experience when they deal with the smaller, independent, family-owned dealerships, if you will. Just my opinion. This person talks about the terrible working conditions around Christmas time, and they said that it was, what did it say? Wind chills at 35 below zero, very strong winds, employees required to work December 23rd, 24th, until noon on the 26th, about bonuses, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, from this guy's email, he did not want to be identified for obvious reasons. He's not happy. And apparently lots of people that work for this dealership are not happy. But I think that goes for many of these big chain dealers that have bought out the little mom and pops. What do you think? Do you think the big chains can provide a better service experience or just better lip service, a better sales pitch? I want to jump in here real quick. I will be telling you how to catch wild pigs in just a second. But first, being the RV Wingman, I get a lot of emails and I read a lot of comments from people who have been really ripped off buying or selling their RV. And between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I put together a report, one for buyers, one for sellers, a report that will help prevent you from being ripped off by dealers or individuals. That's not the longest, most complete, in-depth report, but there are nuggets of good information in these reports, and it's absolutely free. If you're watching this video on a TV set, you can grab your cell phone and text the word, it's right down here, text the word report, and you text it, the number you send it to is 38470. Text the word report to 38470. I know it doesn't sound like a number, but I promise you it does work. You'll get an immediate bounce back from me with the link to click on where you can view and download my free RV report. If you're not watching on TV, watching on a tablet, a mobile device, or your computer, and you click on more, the description will open up and you'll find the link to freervreport.com. I promise I put it together to help save you money, help prevent you from making major, major blunders that you will pay for in the long run. As time and the market permits, I'm going to expand on this report, but I think it's a really good start and it will help a lot of people. So check it out, click on more, or send the word report, text report to 38470. Now let's get back to the video. I'll end by saying this. He says, I just wanted to sound off on how a dealer can affect so many things on reputation by how they operate. You will not find any bad reviews either, as they are all now monitored. Did you know that you can buy reviews and you can pay to have reviews removed? Yes, you can. And when you got all the money of a big corporation, what do you want? You don't want anybody mad. It's hard for some of these corporations because they've gotten so big. And they've got so many people mad at them, it's hard for them to stick their thumb in the hole of the dike. I mean, the complaints are coming out. But reviews can be purchased. You need to remember that. I'm going to read you a notice that I got in the mail. And then I'm going to tell you about how to catch pigs, wild pigs, because pigs are smart. They're opportunistic. And I'm going to tell you about it in just a second. So I sold my campground in September of 2021. Yes. So a year and a half ago, not quite a year and a half ago, I closed on it. But the county appraisal district still sends me notices like they think I still own the place. So I opened this thing up and sent it to the new company that bought my campground, let them know what was happening. But this is what my county tax examiner wants to know. And you tell me if you think that this is reasonable. Because I don't. I'll tell you right now, I don't. This is that creeping corporations change for the bottom line for their benefit. The government is squeezing every dime they can out of all of us and trying to convince us that is a good thing. So this is from the Burnett Central Appraisal District on yellow paper, right? You got to open that. It says 2022 income and expense mobile home park RV park. So this was in the middle of December when I got this. I highlighted in green, we would appreciate your help in completing the following survey. Burnett Central Appraisal District may use the income approach to value income producing properties pursuant to tax code 23.010. Oh, I know what that is. You know what tax code 23.010 is, right? I don't know. You don't know. I think most people don't know, but you know what? The tax man knows, guaranteed the tax man knows, and they want to know everything. Check it out. Check out what they want to know. They want to know things that, well, like the IRS would want to know. They want to know how many RV sites I've got, which I don't own this place anymore. And my question, do you think that the Burnett Central Appraisal District is the only appraisal district that is doing this? I don't either. They want to know how many RV spaces, what the monthly rent is. They want to know how much money I make on my RV sites. I had a bunch of cabins. They want to know how many cabins I had, how much do I make on them. But even more intrusive, they want to know what my operating expenses are. Why are they allowed to get this kind of information unless it is voluntary and not mandatory? They want monthly operating expenses related to the property. Look at the categories: repairs, maintenance, cleaning, property taxes, insurance, utilities, ground security management, salaries, advertising, blah, 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 blah. They want to know everything. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they want to know how much money we make, how much money it costs us to stay in business, and how much is left over? Well, I think I know. I think they want to get their cut. Oh, they're making too much money. We need to get a little bit of that. Do you think I'm being cynical? Now let me tell you about how to catch wild hogs. Many of you know that I used to own and operate a working ranch in Texas for many years. And we had wild hogs in the area. And a wild hog is one smart bugger. They are opportunistic. They are survivors. They are tough. They are their brains work kind of like human beings. They can remember things. They can. Pigs and hogs are super, super smart. How do you catch a wild pig? Catch one alive. How do you do it? Well, I'm going to tell you. This is how you do it. First off, you find out where the pigs are. That's pretty easy. They're around food. They're around water. You look for the pig poop. Find the pigs. And you pour out a bunch of corn because pigs like corn. You leave it alone. Just leave it alone. Come back a few days later, and I'll bet you're going to find that corn's gone, or most of it's gone, and lots of pig tracks around. Put out a little bit more corn. And, I don't know, 20, 30 feet away, put up what they call a hog panel. Just one piece. 20 or 30 feet away from that pile of corn. Put the corn over here. Those hogs are going to go, free food. And they're going to come and get it, and they're going to get used to coming to that free pile of food. And after they get used to it, guess what you do? You go put up a second side of hog panel across the other side, not too close to the corn, just out far enough where they're comfortable. They get still plenty of room to move and maneuver and get in and get all that corn because you're feeding them. They forgot how to make a living on their own out in the wild. There's free food here. And eventually you put up side number 3. And some are skittish, but most aren't. They just want the food. Give me the money. They want the food. And they come in, the corn is all gone. And then you put up a 4th side, a 4th panel. And you leave a little tiny opening with a gate on it. You pour the corn in there, and guess what? You're not going to catch one hog. You're going to catch all the hogs, all of them, because they have been conditioned. There is the food. There is the benefit. There's the cheese if you're a rat. There's the food. And they've gotten used to all these things being put up around them, and now they're trapped. You know what you call them? You call them sausage. You call them bacon, because they're done. They are no longer wild hogs. They are trapped. Do you see the metaphor here? I believe that these things are being put around us. Oh, Wingman, what are you talking about this kind of stuff for? Because that's what I see. You may not see it. You may see something completely different. When the tax assessor wants to know how much money I make, how much money it costs me to pay salaries, why? Did you know that this is a voluntary survey? They could have put in big letters across the top of that notice. This is voluntary, not mandatory. They just implied that we need it for good reasons. Do you think that the fences are getting smaller and we're getting boxed in? I do. I feel it at almost every level. I don't want to feel this way. I want to know what you think. There's a lot of young people out there. You know, people in their 20s and their 30s, they look at people like me and people like many of the folks who are watching this video now as we're alarmists. We're negative. We're extremists. Just shut up. Just keep on going. But I knew what it was like once to be a wild hog and work for a living and had to work. Nobody's going to pour anything out for me. I had to go make it, earn it, like most of you had to do. But life has become so easy for so many people for so long that we have become helpless. A bunch of hogs in a trap. And we are being used. We are being used, and to try to get out of the trap is not easy. I say think, plan, don't be foolish. Don't make rash decisions. Buying an RV right now is a great time for the right person. It is. The inventory levels at dealerships are super high. Sellers, there's a lot of sellers that are dumping their used RVs and the values have gone way down. So it is a good time if you can afford it. If you can't do the maintenance, if you can't afford it, don't just buy a payment. Look at the walls that are closing in around you in life, not necessarily the RV dealership, but in life. If you can afford it, you want to do it, you think you can do it, and you've done your homework, you have logically explored all the options, all the things that could happen, the what ifs, and it's a good idea, hey, RV show season is coming up, right? You can go and probably strike a pretty good deal. A great deal? I don't know. Is it going to be as good as it could have been before COVID? I don't think so. Are the prices going to go up? I'm not sure about that. I don't think the prices are going to drop like some people are predicting. I just don't see it. But again, Wingman Wisdom is about both of us, not just what I think. I know I can be very intense. I'm pretty passionate most of the time. And when I see those hog panels going up around us, every single time I look at some agency, they're here to help us, right? Every time they're here to help us, they're here to help themselves first. And they're lying to us, telling us that we're here to help you. Bull. When I had my ranch and the game warden would come by, I remember as a boy when we would be out deer hunting and a game warden would show up. They were so nice. They really were. They weren't looking to try to write you a ticket. They were just looking, they were making sure you're legal, but they weren't looking. Today's law enforcement with the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department, I learned to despise them. I know they have a hard job to do. I know they're not all bad. But when they come in and I go, hey, would you like a cup of coffee? And what they're really there for is to look for any violation they can find. It's almost like they earn brownie points the more tickets they write up. Thank God they didn't write, I think they wrote one up on my ranch in 15 years. But the government is putting those fences up and throwing that cheese out there, putting the corn in the fence and hoping that more and more people will fill it up. I'm going to leave it there today. Thank you for watching. I'm Alan Warren, the RV Wingman. Be safe, have fun, play nice, and don't leave your good manners at home. I'll see you next time.